The night football turned on Kylian Mbappé was supposed to be a celebration.
Mbappé! Oh, wow!
A packed stadium, white shirts everywhere, cameras waiting for history. Instead, the internet filled with jokes. Clips of him standing offside, screenshots of missed chances, people asking the same brutal question over and over again. Is he overrated? Is this really the guy we were told would rule football? For a player who grew up believing the world belonged to him, that moment hit like a slap. Because this wasn't some young prospect anymore. This was Kylian Mbappé, World Cup winner, global icon, the man meant to inherit the throne after Messi and Ronaldo. And yet, here he was, being doubted louder than ever. Just months earlier, he had walked away from Paris as a legend, PSG's all-time top scorer, a symbol of an entire era. He had finally chosen the destiny he'd talked about since he was a child. Real Madrid, the white shirt, the Bernabeu, the final boss level of football. This was supposed to be the beginning of domination. Instead, it felt like resistance, like the game itself was testing him. Every run was analyzed, every touch judged, every mistake amplified. People weren't patient. They never are with players this big. When you arrive carrying the weight of a generation, you're not allowed to adapt quietly. You're expected to explode instantly. To understand why this moment mattered so much, you have to go back to where it all started. Long before the money, long before the fame, long before the pressure felt unbearable. In a small bedroom in Bondy, a suburb outside Paris, there was a skinny kid staring at posters on his wall. Cristiano Ronaldo in full flight, the Santiago Bernabeu glowing under the lights. That kid wasn't dreaming vaguely. He was specific. He didn't say he wanted to be a footballer. He said he wanted to play there. People around him noticed something different. Not arrogance, certainty. When someone gave him a miniature model of the Bernabeu as a joke, he didn't laugh. He treated it like a promise. One day I'll take you there. At Clairefontaine and later at Monaco, that belief never faded. While other kids talked about contracts and cars, Mbappé talked about legacy. There's a story from his academy days where players were asked to design a fake magazine cover. Most chose football magazines. Mbappé chose Time. The headline read like prophecy, Kylian Mbappé, the best young player in the world.
He is an all-round superstar.
Best player in the world.
He was 14. Coaches loved his intelligence, but struggled with his refusal to play safe. He wanted to dribble, to accelerate, to decide games by himself. That hunger nearly caused problems early on, but once Monaco trusted him, everything exploded. At 16, he broke Thierry Henry's record as Monaco's youngest first-team player. A year later, Europe felt him arrive all at once. The 2016-17 season wasn't just good, it was violent. Defenses were ripped apart by raw speed and fearless finishing. 26 goals, a league title, a Champions League run that embarrassed giants. Pep Guardiola could only smile and shake his head. Arsène Wenger saw echoes of Pelé. Suddenly, this wasn't potential anymore. This was reality. France called him up. The hype became unavoidable. Then came the bidding war. Barcelona, Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool. Everyone wanted him. Real Madrid even agreed a massive fee. Mbappé visited. He walked the halls. He saw the dream in real life. But timing matters in football. Madrid couldn't promise him the stage immediately. PSG could. Paris offered home, spotlight, and a team built around him. He chose Paris, and the world was shocked. But back in Bondy, standing beneath a mural of his own face, it made perfect sense. He once wrote that Bondy didn't have much money, but it had dreamers. And he was the biggest one of all. The 2018 World Cup turned belief into global obsession.
Mbappé! Oh, my word! The first teenage World Cup final goal!
Mbappé was 19 and fearless. Against Argentina, he didn't just play well. He detonated.
Mbappé! Oh, wow!
Sprint after sprint tore open one of the most famous defenses in football history. He won a penalty. He scored twice. Messi watched from the other end of the pitch as a new era announced itself. When France lifted the trophy, Mbappé joined Pelé as the only teenagers to score in a World Cup final. The torch was passed publicly. The football world nodded. This is him. This is the next one. 4 years later in Qatar, he added something else: authority. In the World Cup final against Argentina, France were collapsing. The game was slipping away. The dressing room was silent. Mbappé stood up and reminded everyone what the moment meant. Then he delivered one of the greatest individual performances a final has ever seen. 2 goals in under 2 minutes, a third in extra time, a hat trick on the biggest stage imaginable. France still lost on penalties, but something shifted. Even in defeat, Mbappé walked off confirmed as the sport's central figure. Messi took the trophy. Mbappé took the future. With Messi gone to Miami and Ronaldo in Saudi Arabia, football stood at a crossroads. And in 2024, the story everyone had been waiting for finally happened. Mbappé joined Real Madrid. At 25, he arrived not as a promise, but as a finished product. Paris' all-time leading scorer, a global superstar stepping into the harshest spotlight in club football. Madrid fans expected fireworks. What they got instead was friction. La Liga is cruel to players who rely on space. Defenders sit deeper. Lines are tighter. Half a second of hesitation kills an attack. Mbappé felt it immediately. Goals came slower. Chances felt heavier. The internet noticed everything. 5 open play goals in 16 matches. Offside calls piling up. Against Barcelona, 8 times. 8. The jokes wrote themselves. People ignored context. They always do. They ignored the positional change. Mbappé had spent his life terrorizing defenses from the left. At Madrid, that lane belonged to Vinicius Jr., fresh off a Ballon d'Or level season. So Mbappé moved inside, to a role that demanded different instincts, different patience, different timing. At PSG, everything revolved around him. In Madrid, nothing does. The badge is sacred. The pressure is constant. When results dipped against teams Madrid were expected to dominate, the finger pointed quickly. No trophies, they said. He's not the solution. Even international duty turned sour. Questions about leadership, about commitment, about attitude. His shot numbers rose. His conversion dipped. The narrative turned sharp. But beneath the noise, something important was happening. Even in what people called a bad season, Mbappé scored over 30 league goals. He won the European Golden Shoe. Madrid struggled collectively, but he delivered individually, week after week. The criticism ignored that reality, because once the story turns against you, numbers stop mattering. This season, everything snapped into focus. The movement looks sharper, the timing cleaner, the finishing ruthless again. He's scoring early and often. He's assisting. He's deciding matches. In the Champions League, he's unstoppable. Goals pouring in, defenders backing off, terrified of one wrong step. That 4-goal night wasn't about stats. It was about control, about reminding everyone that when Mbappé feels it, the game bends around him. Now when he touches the ball at the Bernabeu, the stadium leans forward, not in doubt, in anticipation. The narrative has flipped again, just as violently as it turned against him. Suddenly, the same voices questioning his greatness are asking a new question. How far can he take this? Because players like Kylian Mbappé don't just score goals, they shape seasons, they tilt tournaments, they decide history. This feels like the run where everything aligns. The confidence, the timing, the hunger born from being doubted. This feels like the season where the Champions League stops being a dream and becomes an expectation. Like the year where the Ballon d'Or conversation stops including his name as a possibility and starts revolving around it as a certainty. From a bedroom in Bondi to the brightest nights in Madrid, the path was never smooth. It was never supposed to be. The game tested him, the world doubted him, and he responded the only way he knows how, by running faster, by shooting harder, by believing louder than everyone else. Kylian Mbappé isn't chasing validation anymore. He's chasing destiny. And this time, it looks like nothing is getting in his way. And that's what makes this moment so powerful. Because this story isn't really about goals, trophies, or debates on social media. It's about pressure, about what happens when the world decides you must be perfect immediately or you've failed. Mbappé has lived inside that pressure since he was a teenager. Every move questioned, every decision dissected, and yet here he is again, standing at the center of the game, refusing to shrink. What we're watching now feels like the calm after the storm, not the reckless speed of youth, but a controlled force. A player who's been embarrassed, doubted, and written off, and who came back sharper because of it. Real Madrid didn't sign a finished fairy tale. They signed a human being who had to adapt, suffer, and grow under the harshest lights football has to offer. And that process might be exactly what turns Mbappé from a superstar into a legend. Because legends aren't built when everything goes right. They're built when everything goes wrong, and the player still finds a way forward. If this version of Mbappé is here to stay, then Europe isn't just facing a great striker. It's facing a man on a mission, fueled by memory, criticism, and belief that never left him. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this is finally the season Mbappé wins the Champions League with Real Madrid? And one more question. Has the criticism actually made him better? Or was this explosion always inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk football. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more cinematic documentaries like this.